the land of Hyrule, legends are not just told, they are lived. And in May of 2023, Nintendo delivered something extraordinary. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom arrived as the direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, a game that had already redefined what open-world adventure could be. But Tears of the Kingdom wasn't content to simply walk in its predecessor's footsteps. It wanted to soar above them. From the moment players stepped onto the Great Sky Island, it was clear this was something different. A world shattered and rebuilt, floating islands hanging in impossible skies, and deep underground caverns hiding secrets no one expected. Tears of the Kingdom had the weight of an entire legacy on its shoulders, and it carried it effortlessly. Over the next chapters, we'll explore how this game was built, what makes it so remarkable, and why millions of players around the world couldn't put it down. This is the story of a Mastercraft. Breath of the Wild changed everything. When it launched alongside the Switch in 2017, it redefined what a Zelda game could be. And in doing so, it redefined what an open-world game could be. Shrines replaced traditional dungeons. Cooking replaced heart containers. The entire landscape became both playground and puzzle. It sold over 30 million copies and won Game of the Year at nearly every ceremony that exists. So when Nintendo announced a sequel, the question was not whether it would be good, the question was whether it could possibly live up to what came before. Could you really follow a game that perfect? The development team at Nintendo EPD, led by the legendary Eiji Aonuma and director Hidemaru Fujibayashi, knew the weight of that expectation. They had to honor the original while finding something genuinely new, something that would justify its existence as more than just more Hyrule. And they found their answer not in new places to explore, but in an entirely new way to interact with the world itself. The Hyrule of Tears of the Kingdom is built on 3 layers above the Sky Islands, remnants of an ancient Zonai civilization floating impossibly in the clouds. Below the surface, the depths, a vast pitch-black underworld stretching across the entire map, filled with gloom, treasure, and terror. And in between, the surface, the same Hyrule you explored in Breath of the Wild, but reshaped in dramatic ways. Chasms scar the landscape, new structures have risen, familiar landmarks now carry new meaning. This triple-layered design is not just a gimmick. It fundamentally changes how you think about space and exploration. When you see a sky island overhead, you can reach it. When you fall through a chasm, you emerge into an entirely different world below. The game trusts you to move between these layers freely, to chart your own path through this enormous vertical playground. No other open-world game has achieved verticality on this scale. From the highest sky island to the deepest point in the depths, the world feels alive, interconnected, and endlessly surprising. Every direction, whether up, down, or across the horizon, holds something worth discovering. If there is one mechanic that defines the soul of Tears of the Kingdom, it is Ultrahand. At first glance, it appears deceptively simple. You reach out, you grab an object, you move it, you can stick things together. But what unfolds from that simplicity is nothing short of revolutionary. Ultrahand gives every player the power to become an engineer. Logs, wheels, fans, rockets, springs, sleds. Nearly every object in the world becomes a building block. You can fuse them together in almost any configuration you can imagine. Need to cross a river? Strap 2 logs together and make a raft. A canyon stands in your way? Build a glider with fans and soar right over it. A vertical cliff blocks your path? Stack platforms into a makeshift elevator and ride to the top? The true genius of Ultrahand is that Nintendo never tells you the right answer. Every puzzle, every obstacle, every shrine has dozens of possible solutions. One player constructs an elaborate flying mech. Another just glues a rocket to a shield and launches themselves into the sky. Both approaches work perfectly. This is what separates Tears of the Kingdom from everything else. It does not just give you tools, it gives you a creative sandbox. Ultrahand transforms gameplay from problem solving into genuine self-expression. And that is why players spend hundreds of hours just building, experimenting, and pushing the boundaries of what this single ability could do. Ultrahand was just the beginning. Tears of the Kingdom gave Link an entire toolkit of abilities, each one opening new layers of gameplay. Fuse lets you combine materials with weapons and shields, creating devastating custom armaments. Attach a ruby to an arrow and it becomes a fire arrow. Fuse a boulder to a stick and you have a hammer. The system turns every item in the game into a potential weapon component, making resource gathering feel meaningful in a way most games never achieve. Then there is Ascend, a deceptively simple power that lets Link rise through any ceiling above him and emerge on top. What sounds straightforward becomes revolutionary when you realize it works everywhere. Through cave ceilings, building roofs, mountain overhangs, even enemy fortifications. It changes how you read every space you enter. Recall reverses the movement of any object through time. A falling boulder can be sent back skyward. A drifting platform can carry you upstream. Combined with Ultrahand constructions, it enables solutions the developers themselves never anticipated. An auto-build, unlocked later in the adventure, lets you instantly recreate your favorite Ultrahand designs. Together, these abilities formed an interconnected system where creativity was the only limit. Beneath all the building and exploration lies a story, and it is one of the most ambitious narratives Nintendo has ever told. The game begins with Link and Zelda discovering the mummified remains of Ganondorf beneath Hyrule Castle. When the ancient evil awakens, it shatters the Master Sword, poisons Link with gloom, and casts Zelda into the distant past. What follows is a dual narrative. In the present, Link rebuilds his strength, journeying across a fractured Hyrule. In the past, told through memory sequences, Zelda makes a devastating choice to become a dragon, the only vessel capable of healing the Master Sword across millennia. The emotional weight of Zelda's sacrifice is unlike anything the series has attempted before. She gives up her humanity, her memory, her entire identity, on the hope that Link will one day find her. Ganondorf, for his part, is finally given a voice and a presence that matches his menace. He is calculating, powerful, theatrical. His rise from ancient Zonai prisoner to Demon King feels earned and terrifying. The story culminates in one of the most breathtaking final encounters in gaming, a multi-phase battle that draws on every mechanic the game has taught you, ending with Link and Zelda reunited against all odds. Combat in Tears of the Kingdom is a reinvention. While Breath of the Wild introduced a system built on weapon durability and environmental interaction, Tears of the Kingdom expands it into something far deeper. Fuse changes everything. Every weapon in the game becomes a base, a platform to build something better. Attach a rock for blunt force, a horn for elemental damage, an eyeball for a homing arrow. The creativity that defines exploration now extends to every fight you encounter. Enemies are smarter too. Bokoblins build forts, ride vehicles, and coordinate attacks. Boss Bokoblins command squads. Gloom hands emerge from the darkness with terrifying unpredictability. The depths introduce entirely new threats that force you to manage resources and visibility in ways the surface never demanded. And then there are the boss encounters. Each Temple Guardian presents a unique mechanical puzzle layered into a combat challenge. The Wind Temple's Colgera, the Lightning Temple's Queen Gibdo, each demands a different approach, a different set of tools. The Demon King himself is a masterclass in boss design, a multi-phase gauntlet that tests every skill you have developed over dozens of hours. Combat is no longer just about swinging a sword, it is about reading the situation, improvising, and building your way to victory. One of the most debated aspects of Breath of the Wild was its dungeons. The divine beasts were clever, but felt small and samey compared to the sprawling temples of older Zelda games. Tears of the Kingdom answers that criticism directly. The game features 5 major temples, each with a distinct visual identity, environmental theme, and mechanical hook. The Wind Temple is set aboard a massive floating ship in a blizzard. The Fire Temple descends into a volcanic minecart labyrinth. The Water Temple unfolds across floating platforms above a waterfall. Each one is larger, more complex, and more memorable than anything in the previous game. And then, there are the shrines. Over 150 of them scattered across all 3 layers of the world. While some are simple combat tests, the best ones are intricate physics puzzles that reward creative thinking. Many have multiple valid solutions, rewarding players who think outside the intended path. The Spirit Temple, hidden late in the game, stands as one of the single greatest dungeon experiences in the entire franchise. It ties together every narrative thread and gameplay system into one unforgettable sequence. Tears of the Kingdom proved that open-world freedom and structured dungeon design are not mutually exclusive. They can coexist, and when they do, the result is extraordinary. Perhaps the greatest testament to Tears of the Kingdom is not what Nintendo built, but what players did with it. Within days of launch, the internet exploded with creations no one at Nintendo could have predicted. Players built working calculators, functional airplanes, roller coasters, and combat mechs that would put some dedicated building games to shame. Someone recreated a Star Wars speeder bike. Another built a functional music box. A player crossed the entire map using nothing but a series of improvised catapults. Speedrunners found ways to launch Link into orbit. Builders turned shrine puzzles into Rube Goldberg machines. Artists used the building tools as a medium of expression, creating sculptures and functional art within the game world. This was not just gameplay, this was a creative movement. Tears of the Kingdom became a platform, a canvas for millions of players to express themselves. Social media became a gallery of increasingly absurd, beautiful, and ingenious creations. Each one was a love letter to a design philosophy that trusted the player completely. Nintendo gave people a box of toys and said, "Show us what you can do." The world answered with inventions that surpassed every expectation. The community did not just play Tears of the Kingdom, they made it their own. Let us talk about something that does not get enough credit. Tears of the Kingdom runs on the Nintendo Switch, a console released in 2017 with hardware that was already modest at launch. And yet, here is a game with 3 interconnected world layers, a real-time physics engine powering unlimited player creations, seamless transitions between sky, surface, and underground, and virtually no loading screens during gameplay. The technical achievement is staggering. Every object you build with Ultrahand obeys consistent physics. Vehicles you construct actually work, with wheels that grip terrain, fans that generate thrust, and rockets that propel upward. The game simulates all of this in real time on hardware that most developers would consider severely limited. There are compromises, of course. The resolution dips, frame rates occasionally stutter during intense building sequences, but these are minor blemishes on what is otherwise a masterwork of optimization. The development team spent 6 years on this game, and that time shows in every system, every interaction, every carefully tuned physics response. It is a reminder that great game design is not about raw power, it is is about vision, craftsmanship, and an unrelenting commitment to the player's experience. Tears of the Kingdom arrived in May 2023, a year that was already overflowing with landmark games. Baldur's Gate 3 redefined the role-playing genre. Resident Evil 4 Remake set a new standard for remakes. Alan Wake 2 pushed narrative horror into uncharted territory. Spider-Man 2, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, the list goes on. Any other year, any one of these games would have dominated the conversation. And yet, Tears of the Kingdom stood apart. It sold over 10 million copies in its first 3 days. It received universal critical acclaim. It won Game of the Year at multiple award shows. In a year of giants, it was the giant among them. What makes this even more remarkable is that it did all of this on aging hardware, without microtransactions, without a live service model, without any of the trends that dominate modern gaming. Tears of the Kingdom was a complete standalone experience. You bought it, you played it, and everything was there. In an industry increasingly defined by fragmentation and monetization, Nintendo delivered something refreshingly whole. When you step back and look at what Nintendo achieved with Tears of the Kingdom, it's staggering. They took the blueprint of Breath of the Wild, a game already considered a masterpiece, and somehow found ways to improve on nearly every aspect. The physics system is deeper, the story is more emotional, the abilities are more creative, the world is bigger, denser, and more surprising. Tears of the Kingdom sold over 10 million copies in its first 3 days alone, making it one of the fastest-selling Nintendo titles of all time. Critics called it a once-in-a-generation achievement. Players spent thousands of hours building, exploring, and discovering secrets that months after launch still hadn't been found. But perhaps the greatest legacy of Tears of the Kingdom is its community. The contraptions people built, the creative solutions they shared, the absurd and brilliant inventions that flooded social media, that becomes the game's lasting impact. Nintendo didn't just make a sequel. They built a sandbox so deep, so endlessly creative, that players transformed it into something bigger than any one studio could have imagined. The Legend of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom isn't just a great game, it is a mastercraft, a testament to what happens when a legendary studio refuses to play it safe and bets everything on player creativity. And that gamble paid off in ways that will be felt for generations.